I'm going to do today is I'm going to burn a FreePlay chip for my Star Trek upright. And if you've never burned EEPROMs before, you need a device called an EEPROM programmer, an EEPROM eraser, and I have an old computer here I just used to burn EEPROMs. And of course you need EEPROMs. Now, the one I'm burning today is I don't know if I can get that to focus. Maybe not. Anyways, there it is. It's a 2716. Now, this came out of a Donkey Kong. This is just some random Donkey Kong one. I'm a little worried to use this because you can erase an EEPROM too much. And what I did is I put it in the EEPROM eraser a little bit ago. And I forgot about it, so it's been on there for about 40 minutes. Probably not too good, but I'm gonna see if it takes it anyways. Because you can erase it for so long that it doesn't hold the program anymore. But anyways, what I'm going to use is, and now you know what, this EEPROM burner is made for the arcade community. It really is, because it burns all the stuff you want, and it's a very, very nice, dependable unit. But anyways, it's called Andromeda Research makes it. I got some random junk in here. But then, of course, you pay for the unit itself, and you have the adapters like this. And this specific adapter lets you burn TMS 2716s and TMS 2532s, and so on. But today we're just burning a regular, standard old 2716. Now, in case you don't know, let me move this thing and let's see if I can get the software going. You know what? I'm gonna restart this without that damn light on the camera. Hold on. Okay, no light. Now, what I did is I already moved it over. I got like a 1 terabyte hard drive and I plugged it into this old, should have been Windows 98 machine, and it took forever just to read that hard drive. But you know what? I love this EEPROM. I love this EEPROM programmer. It's a great EEPROM programmer, but there is a couple drawbacks. First off, it only plugs into an LPT port, which would be the old printer ports. You know the kind your old printer would plug into, a big wide sucker. And I don't like that because new computers, you just can't find them on new computers anymore. That's one drawback. So you have to plug it into an older computer or a desktop. Some of the desktops still have them today, but it's kind of a thing of the past. And I have tried using a USB adapter to LPT, but there's a problem with that. This programmer relies on specific timings coming from your port on the computer. Well, when you use a USB adapter, it changes all the timings. So it defeats the purpose of using the port. And the second complaint I have, besides, I do love this machine, I do, but the second complaint I have is I wish someone would make a point-and-click interface. Now, I actually called the company and I said, hey, is there any way I could help? I mean, I would love for your programmer to have a point-and-click interface. But they said the reason they want it this way is so you can plug it in any computer, no matter what operating system it runs, and you can boot it off its boot disk and whatever, and it'll work anywhere you want. But man, I like that. But can you add an extra one? But okay, so this one's kind of goofy to learn, but this is what we're gonna do. We're here. I'm gonna set the path. P, set the path. Oh, let me add all this. P, I'm going to set the drive path. And I put it in, I think I put it in EEPROM. So then I have to go to F2, press F2 to view the files. Yep, yeah, I did put it in EEPROM. Okay, now this is the program. Now normally the chip on the Star Trek, now this chip is on the CPU board. Okay, now normally this chip is numbered 1873. But I'm going to burn 1873F, which is the FreePlay version. And I'm going to F4, I'm going to load it. So now it's loaded into my buffer. So now I'm going to get my chip here. See if I can zoom in. Now that I have the light off on the camera, you can't see. But I'm going to put my chip in. Okay. And I'm going to, well, first thing I do when I put my chip in is I verify the device is erased first off. So I'm going to press 6. And it's asking me if the device is in socket. Yes, it is. So I verified it and said my device is erased. So what I'm going to do now is read device file into buffer, program device from buffer. I'm looking at the phone instead of looking at the screens, making it hard for me. Okay, so my command is the number 2. And I'm going to program from buffer, yes. Now we're programming. Now depending on how old your chip is, it may program fast. And some of the older chips like this, it may program slow. Like this one's kind of slow. I guess all 2716s are slow. Because 2716s, I mean, they've been around, since the mid-70s. But this is actually reading out in hexadecimal. Now, if you don't know, okay, that's a whole other can of worms. It's a way to count with 16 bits. I'll leave it at that. Once we get, see, we're going down to 2s. Once we get down to 0, we'll be totally programmed. But the reason I wanted Star Trek to be free play, instead of just putting, Sega Vectors and other Segas, they don't use 2 wires to connect to the coin switch. They use 3 wires, and the center wire would be on your limit switch. Would go click, 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 instead of just 2 wires touching together. Now, if it was just 2 wires touching together, I wouldn't bother burning a FreePlay chip, and what I'd do is I would solder 1 extra wire and connect it to player 1 start, and the other wire go straight down to the coin. So in other words, it would coin up and press start at the same time. But I cannot do that with this specific game because it actually, okay, you know how if the coin goes through the switch, go click, click, real quick, okay? And if it takes too long, click, then it will not accept the credit. It was a thing they added to many games, and Sega has many of those games that they do that with. And they do that so if you're trying to cheat the machine or something went wrong, it doesn't give you a credit. So it's a protection thing. It's a good idea back then. It pisses people like me off now because you either have to put drill. I never do this. I really hate this. If you ever see a hole drilled in the front of one of my games, I didn't put it there. But a lot of people will drill a hole in the game so they can get that click click with a regular limit switch. And I don't like doing that. Okay, so we've already programmed. It says program is complete. Data verification is correct. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now, I already erased this chip ahead of time. But normally, you get an EEPROM. See this window here? It's a crystal window. And the reason that material is made out of crystal, because crystal does not block ultraviolet light. Crystal lets ultraviolet light pass through pretty well. And the reason you want ultraviolet light to flow through this is because ultraviolet light will go through this window and charge every single, it's kind of like half transistors, but thousands and thousands of them. And if you're familiar with how a transistor works, this might help you out. But electrons come from the UV light and go and charge a plate. And that plate makes the transistor act to the base and kind of makes it act like it's on. So when it's on, it would resemble all zeros. You know what I mean? But okay, so right now all zeros are written to this chip, and I just programmed them and changed some of the zeros to ones. is actually, you know, I could go way down the rabbit hole, but it's actually the opposite of what I just told you. But okay, I have my chip programmed. Going to go over to the. All right, you know what? We are going to pause. We're going to get a light on here. Okay, now we have a light. And the board I'm after here is the CPU board. So keep in mind, if you don't know where all this stuff goes, you might want to keep track of it. But I'm going to pull all these guys out. And now I'm going to access the CPU board. And the part we're after, remember that number? 1873. So, I'm going to move this guy over here. Okay. Now, the thing I have in reach is a steak knife. So that's what we're going to use. You get a steak knife. Now, whenever you pull a chip, try to keep in mind where the notch is. So I have a notch on this side, so the new one's got to have a notch on this side also. Okay, so I'm going to pull this chip. Oh, and don't use a steak knife. Anyways, alright. I have the new chip here. Now, I like to get one side in first, so I don't have to watch one side. So that side I know is in, so I only have to watch this side. So kind of push it over a little bit, and push it in. Okay, so let's plug this guy back in over here. Okay. These are kind of a pain in the ass to plug in because there's these little guides. You have to watch the guides. And sometimes boards get sticky on these cages. Okay. And I got this one for sound. Okay. Double check. Yeah, we're all good. Oh, no, we're not. This goes here. Okay. So, I'm going to pick this up. Let's make sure this still works. And so we'll have FreePlay. Okay. Now I did not coin up yet. Hopefully this is going to work. I'm going to press start.
Welcome aboard.
And we are good to go. We got FreePlay. Awesome. Awesome.
Entering sector
Great.
1.2.
Now I'm probably going to end up doing this with my tack scan too, because it really sucks to look at this big giant door now. Okay, I gotta if you wanted to coin this up without FreePlay, without putting a bunch of buttons in there, you have to open this every time you want to play it. Oh, okay, there we go. So now I can let that sit and not worry about opening it up. Because one thing that kind of sucks with Star Trek is that you open it up, you take the power, you shut the power off. So, there we go. Now we have FreePlay burnt.